Okay, so if you're online at all, you've probably seen the memes about Black Clover, right? Mostly about Asta screaming and all the classic shonen tropes. But what if I told you that underneath all that noise, it's actually one of the most compelling, character-driven stories out there? Today, we're going to dive deep into the two underdogs at the very heart of this series.
Let's just start with this question. Imagine for a second that you are born with just immense potential, incredible, world-changing power. But that very power was the one thing keeping you from succeeding. That exact paradox, that's really the soul of Black Clover's story.
All right, first things first, let's get a feel for the world. In Black Clover, the rules are simple. Magic is everything. It decides your social class, your job, pretty much your entire worth as a person. And right into the middle of this world, our hero, Asta, is born.
And Asta, yeah. Well, Asta is loud. The memes are definitely not wrong. You know his most famous trait, as this article points out, is just his constant, super high energy screaming. He's your classic shonen hero, but with the volume cranked all the way up to 11. He is just a walking ball of pure determination.
This right here just lays out the impossible odds perfectly. You've got Asta, born with zero, and I mean zero magic. And on the other side, his rival, Yuno, a total prodigy who gets chosen by the legendary four-leaf clover Grimoire. They're both peasants, sure, but from day one it feels like one is destined for greatness and the other is just destined to fail.
So here's the beautiful irony, and this is the whole point. In a world where magic is king, Asta's complete lack of magic is what lets him wield anti-magic, the one thing that can just cancel it all out. His greatest weakness literally becomes his ultimate weapon. He is, by every single definition, the obvious underdog, just fighting tooth and nail against a world that told him he was worthless.
But you know, Asta's story, that's really only half of it. Because there's another kind of underdog in this story, one whose struggle is a lot more hidden. Meet Noelle Silva. She's actual royalty, born into one of the most powerful magical families in the kingdom. On paper, she has everything. But what if your prison isn't made of iron bars, but of your own family's expectations and abuse?
This is totally the key to understanding Noelle at the beginning. That arrogant attitude she has, her famous catchphrase, "I'm royalty," it's not real pride. It's a shield. It's a defense mechanism she built up to hide this deep, deep feeling of being completely worthless.
And this slide just shows you exactly why she felt that way. Her own family was her biggest tormentor. They called her a failure, a defect. They made fun of her constantly, and probably the worst thing of all, they blamed her for their mother's death, who died giving birth to her. I mean, can you even imagine carrying that kind of weight every single day of your life?
And here we are, back at that paradox we talked about. Noelle has a massive amount of magic power, enough to rival the strongest mages around. But that huge, untamed power is the very thing she can't control. So it's this incredible gift that feels like a curse, and it just keeps reinforcing what her family always told her, that she's a failure. So what changes, right? How does this broken person even start to heal? Well, she finds a new family. Her older brother, who sees her as this huge disgrace, basically kicks her out and dumps her in the worst, most chaotic magic knight squad in the entire kingdom, the Black Bulls.
And would you look at this contrast? It lays out the transformation so perfectly. She goes from the House of Silva, which was this pressure cooker of abuse and mockery, to the Black Bulls, a total mess of a squad, yeah, but a supportive and accepting one. And for the first time in her life, her identity isn't failure, it's squad mate.
And that's the absolute key. They see her wild, uncontrollable magic, and they don't laugh at her. They don't call her a defect. They see her potential, they see her struggle, and they just accept her. And that acceptance becomes the foundation for her entire journey of healing and growth.
Seriously, when someone asks her why she even sticks around with this bunch of misfits, this is her answer. So simple, but so powerful. After a whole lifetime of cruelty, the simple act of kindness was revolutionary. It was literally everything she needed to finally start believing in herself. And once that self-belief starts to grow, her power finally begins to awaken. Her journey isn't just about healing her emotional wounds. It's about unlocking this insane magical potential that was trapped inside her by all that trauma. Just look at this progression here. It's incredible. Every major power-up she gets is tied to her desire to protect somebody else. First, she creates this impenetrable defense to save innocent villagers. Then, she unleashes this overwhelming attack spell to save her friends. And finally, she creates this unbelievable suit of water armor to save the very same siblings who made her life a living hell.
And these are her own words in that moment. That Valkyrie armor, it's not just a power-up. It's basically a metaphor for her freedom. The cage of abuse and self-doubt is just shattered, and for the very first time, she feels the pure joy and freedom of her own power.
And hey, as a fun little fact, the official guidebooks actually rank her as the second most beautiful woman in the whole series. It's a small detail, sure, but it kind of shows how she finally grew into that royal elite identity. But this time, it was on her own terms, with the power and the confidence to back it all up.
So let's bring it all back to where we started. The memes, the tropes, the constant comparisons to other big anime. Is that really all Black Clover is?
This is the big critique you see everywhere online, right? The one this meme article hits on. People saying it's just a knockoff, a formulaic story that's just rehashing what shows like My Hero Academia or Naruto have already done. And, on the surface, they're not totally wrong.
But here's the crucial point, the thing that makes it all work. Black Clover's genius isn't in inventing brand new tropes, it's in how it executes the classic ones with so much genuine heart and emotional sincerity. The magicless kid who never gives up, the abused royal who finds a real family, yet we've seen these ideas before, but rarely with this much earnest dedication to their emotional journey.
And this quote, this just perfectly illustrates the whole thing. This becomes Noelle's mantra. It's a line she actually borrows from Asta, which shows how much he influenced her, but she makes it completely her own. It perfectly sums up her entire journey from a timid girl who is ready to run away to a warrior who stands up to a literal devil and absolutely refuses to back down.
So I'm going to leave you with this final thought. Asta's journey is all about overcoming the world's limits, but Noelle's, her journey is about overcoming her own inner demons. Which really makes you wonder, who's the real underdog? The one born with no power, or the one who had all the power in the world but had to find the strength just to wield it? Thanks for tuning in to this explainer.